Hi, Lynn. Nice to see you. Aw. Looks like you're all organized there. Yes, thank you. Cheryl and Marion, hi there too. And you'll probably notice that little recording sign. No worries, you're not being recorded. It's just me. So, so feel free if you want to show yourself. I always love to see you. We will make sure everybody's muted once we get going. There, so big hi to Cheryl and Lynn and Marion. So today, look at my little prop list. If you have a ball, that would be great. Oh, I think that's could be Carol. Hi. So it's always good to have a strap handy as well. We'll see how our timing goes. I'm going to try and use the strap at the end. But if you've got a tennis ball, that'd be great. If you don't have a tennis ball, that's okay. You know, we could even use a little bit of lotion if you've got some lotion. So we're going to sort of highlight the upper body with the hands, the wrists. We'll do the full body, a full body, nice little stretch in that. But that's the one we'll sort of highlight today. So anyways, thank you for being here on July 31st. What am I thinking? Friday, last day, can you believe it? Last day of August there. So, and the classes, we will continue with Zoom in August, but they're set up a little differently. And I'm pretty sure that you probably got the email from Simone. So there will be a package fee for Zoom moving forward, but we're been so lucky to have Zoom these last few months, just sort of available, free. So really nice, and so nice to connect with you all, and looking forward to the day that I actually see you in person. I have run into a few people here and there, and it's like, oh. People, it's so nice to see everybody. But again, we're just very, very lucky that we have this platform to do classes and just stay safe in the homes, and don't have to drive anywhere either. So so that's handy too. So I'm just going to get one more thing. So please feel just to make sure. Oh, the other thing too. For the second part, nice to have a blanket. Could be a blanket, could be a big beach towel, or just a large towel. Nice to have something to sit on. +2 for Shavasana. It's always nice for a bit of support. Having said that, you've got a bolster too. So just get one more thing. Oh, and then always should mention, I always like to, as I said, we'll try and get to the strap part towards the end of the class. We'll just see how our time goes. But I always like to have a little pillow just for the head, or you might just say, no, you know, I have a different prop that's better for me. Please feel free. And don't mean to get the list growing. Blocks are always handy too, or just something, maybe some extra towels just to lean on. So anyways, I will be right back. So before we start, always feel free too. You could just do some gentle stretches, or might just say, I'm just going to just sit and just kind of regroup too, is always a wonderful thing to do. So feel free. We'll be starting pretty quick. Oh, there's Diane and Heather. And Heather. Nice to see you all. Oh, wonderful. Oh, and there's Joan and the Swan family. Nice to have you all today. I know. Ah, oh, and Barbara. Lovely. There we go. So, oh yes, such a wonderful group. And as I said, I miss you all a lot. So looking forward to seeing you soon. So if you just logged on, we will be continuing Zoom in August. And I think probably got an email from Simone about how it's set a little bit differently. Same time. Oh, there's Sydney. But it is within a package fee, I believe. So double checking that. Oh, we've got 9. 9-8. Hi, 9-8. So just a review, so I know a few people know, but a ball today. I happen to have a pink one. There's Shauna. So I thought these were really cool. They had these for breast cancer, but I've been trying to find them again and don't have them again. But anyway, a tennis ball or ball of some sort. If you don't have a ball, no worries. You could even use hand lotion towards for the hands, or literally your hands. So that's towards the end of the class. So let's just begin. And I'm sure we have a busy day, so we'll begin going into the long weekend. Can you believe it? So I'll just tip this a little bit. So in our practice too, always please feel free. If something doesn't feel quite right and you need to vary it a little bit or you need to add an extra prop, please feel free to do that. So you are your best guide, and that inner intuitive little voice that you hear, that's really important, just to heed by that. That's those little whispers. So from here, always just start from feet going all the way up. So from here, my feet are parallel, and I'm going to invite the shoulder blades down. We'll do a little more of that, but just even a gentle, a little noticing, releasing the shoulder blades down. And then going to the feet as we normally do. The feet are our foundation. And of course, going into a little log. Oh, excuse me. One more person here. Here we go. There's Wendy. There. So just with the feet, just a little walk the dog. So, you just can't beat this very gentle movement. So, sometimes too, if you ever think, gee, I should get to, I'd like to practice or I'd like to do something, just even starting with this is wonderful because it wakes up the body, it wakes up the nervous system. So really good go-to movement to start if you ever think, gee, I'd like to do just a little bit. And there's Chantel. So a really nice one, as I said, just start that gentle walk the dog. Ooh, we have another person. So Shelly, there we go. So from here, we've been doing a little walk the dog. And feel free forward and back. As I said, it's just a nice wake up movement. And I find too, sometimes I have to sort of like get myself going, depending on the time of day, just to practice it. Sometimes I just absolutely love it, and other days it's like a little harder to do. So this is a nice one just to get the body, the blood going, and just, as I said, waking up the nervous system. And then maybe a little deeper walk the dog. So I would just be transferring up and down, but maybe no worries. Maybe yours is just a little smaller. Of course, everybody's different. Some I find too, there's some people that love working out in the morning and maybe some not quite as much. So, and then from here, press the big toe mound down, press the baby toe mound and the heel. So I'm thinking of the tripod. And then I'm going to inhale, come all the way up. And then as I come down, I'm going to exhale through the mouth and palms down. Exhale. Coming again. So it's a beautiful way to release any tension before we begin. Inhale up. Exhale through the mouth. And then feel free to be as audible as you like. Inhale up. Exhale. Let's just do 2 more. Please feel free. You might want to go into your own timing even more. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. And then exhale. And then from here, checking into Namaste. So the wonderful thing, about Namaste is it is a mudra with the hands on Jolly Mudra. And wonderful too to do that connecting of the right side of the body with the left, the yin with the yang. And then before we begin too today, especially when we're thinking of the hands a little bit more and the wrists, can you press the heel of the hand a little bit more? Notice how that can invite the shoulder blades down a little bit. It's kind of interesting, isn't it, how that connection happens. And what about the digits? Press each of the digits together, the finger pads, the backs of the knuckles there. So those main knuckles where the fingers start. Inhale and then exhale, pressing a little bit more. And then try this. I'll go sideways just so you can see. I'm going to inhale and I'm going to spread the fingers. You can see that. I'm spreading the fingers and then I'm going to take them back to my center. And then coming again, inhale, exhale, spread the fingers and then take them back. Maybe one more time. Inhale, exhale, spread the fingers. Again, invite that release down the back and then take the hands back into sort of that classic Anjali Mudra, Namaste shape, and then press the back of the thumbs into the heart. Just checking in. So very grounding, very soothing, and wonderful for the core connection. I could take the tip of my tongue and then roll it around the front of my teeth. I could take the tip of the tongue, roll around the bottom of my teeth. It's kind of always that sort of that extra like, oh, what's there? And then I could wiggle the jaw. Feel free, kind of that yawn feeling. Just nice to relieve tension. And then sometimes too, of course, with any issues with the hands can affect into the jaw. Excuse me, just for a minute. We got Kathy here. So from here, we're just checking in with Namaste. We're checking in with releasing the shoulder blades down the back. And then from there, take that tongue and then press it to the roof of the mouth. And then go into that classic yoga Ujjayi breath. Some call it a victorious breath. So I'm even inhale, even exhale through the nose. And the body loves this type of breath as sort of the anchor. And of course, we can vary it with different breath techniques, but this is a good standard one to do, or a good go-to one. As I said, the body feels calm with this and yet energized with this breath. And then from here, feel free, you could totally stay here, or you could do the moving Namaste breath. So I inhale up, and then I exhale down. And then of course, no worries too. Maybe you might not go as far up or far down, or again, you can just stay heart center. So please go in your own rhythm. Notice too, maybe the head can follow with the drishti. And the shoulders, the bigger range, the shoulders get a little deeper movement, but again, going to your own range of motion. Just having that mindfulness of the breath. Maybe you notice a little sound with this breath technique. And then let's go for a classic 4 more, and then meeting back in Namaste. And of course, I'm always checking for any little noises that may not be smooth. And of course, just listening to those little whispers, as I mentioned, maybe last one. And if so, always varying the pose a bit or the movement. And then when you're ready, checking back into Namaste. This is Tadasana, mountain pose. So very strong. So I'm thinking of drawing up through my arches, my kneecaps, my thighs, all the way to the crown of the head. And then as I exhale, sending the breath down the body, down the legs, down to that tripod, big toe mound, baby toe mound, and the heel. Maybe one more breath, pressing the hands a little bit more deeply. And then exhale, release. Isn't that interesting? And then spread the fingers. Feel free, you might want to go back to that walk the dog. And I could take, the hands kind of move the wrists a little bit. Oh, always so good. And having said that, let's just try to, with the thumbs as the leaders, I inhale, I open out, and then I exhale. Let the baby finger actually be the leader, and then come back. And then try a few of these. So thumb leads on the way back, and baby finger leads on the way forward. So thumb opens up the front line of the body, and the baby finger opens up the back line of the, notice around the upper shoulder, in fact. Feel free, you might want to go a little bigger with the movement or not. Again, just such a nice one to open up. And of course, the hands are so powerful. It just sort of finishes off that length of release into the muscles, into the joints. And coming back, maybe one more. Feel free, you might want to make this your biggest one yet. And then from here, standing again. This time, arms just to the side. And then let's go to our little mini back bend. So I take my hands, and I'll go sideways for you. Take my hands, so it's one of our classic ones, but so good. I take my hands and I put them as if they're going to my jean pockets, either side of the spine. Feet are parallel, double check for alignment. I inhale, I come all the way up. And then exhale, imagine there's a big beach ball I can lean over, just a mini back bend. And then lead with the heart. And then coming again, I'll go back this way. Inhale, draw all the way up. Exhale, release, and then leading forward. So again, the whole body is, a team effect to support the low back, the whole core. Last one, inhale, maybe stay here, inhale. Exhale, perhaps staying here, release, and then inhale again. Exhale down your spine, all the way down your legs, and then lead with the heart. And then from here, feel free, maybe take the elbows back a little bit. Let's try this too over here. So there's a couple variations you can do. So you could go to namaste behind the back like this. You could go to arms folded. So you might just say, yeah, and then but double check, can you release the shoulder blades down? Sometimes they rise up a little bit. You might just say, okay, I want to try the other arm. Or if you're feeling extra bendy today, you could try reverse namaste. So the fingers point up. So many variations. Now that's a little more dynamic. You might just say, whoa, I like the one where the hands are pointed down or the elbows. So just release there. And then release down the shoulders. And then from here, inhale. So I call this sort of the happy T. So think of that T shape. And then I'm going to my palms are down. I'm going to inhale and then take the flex. So point the fingers down and then lift up. You could even be creative too. You might just say, what if I use my middle finger to do the movement? Or maybe all the fingers. Or maybe you can kind of play around with the fingers as well. And then from here, open up so the palms would be facing you. So I'm palms facing away. Same thing, I could flex back. Oof, such a beautiful stretch around the front of that whole zone, that front line across the heart. And then flex back. And then I'm going to invite the shoulder blades down just to remind that I want that release. And then from here, maybe just back, palms down, little circles. And I could flip. So same thing we're doing before. I could use the thumb to open up. I could use the baby finger to rotate. So again, always feel free. And I should mention, maybe it feels better for you to be a bit lower. Always feel free to do those little variations that customize. Inhale, and kind of like sunset that we often do with our practice. Think of being at the horizon. Inhale. Now make a pause and a fist with your hand. So pause the breath. And then exhale, release down, press down. So good. And then a little wiggle. I call this sort of the yoga etch-a-sketch. And then from here, inhale, take the arms up. And I'm spreading the fingers. The palms are down. And then from here, I'm going to flex. So imagine that you're pressing into a wall. And certainly, let's say you have a wall, you might just say, I kind of like that version. So this little series is one we sometimes do in quadruped too, but I thought today might be fun to do it standing. So a little bit different variation. So I'm flexing. So shoulder blades down the back. Now I say it's sort of like a Goldilocks, not too far forward, not too far back. And then from here, kind of like you're driving a car, maybe Feel free to take that right arm and then just turn the arm and then take it back. And then try the left arm, just turn it around. And then come back and maybe trying again, inhale. And then exhale as you come back. Last one on the left, inhale. Exhale, a little flex. And then exhale, a little release. Oh, who knew, when you think of, wrists and arms, how the body can start to kind of change the rhythm of the breath even because the body says, oh, I'm working hard. And then here's another nice one. I just take my hands and I kind of like a weave or a clasp. I could clasp the hand part or I could clasp the wrist part. And it might be about sternum level, so feel free to try that. Ooh, such a nice stretch between the rhomboids, the shoulder blades. That zone, and then from here, very gently, and then try the other way. So I'm just pulling apart, and then invite the shoulder blades down the back. So imagine that somebody was behind you, and they're just sort of taking their hands along your shoulder blades and releasing them down. So from here, that same feeling. And then maybe one more time. And then from here, a little stretch up, exhale. And that's just one more. I got one more for you too. It's butterfly arms. So from here, we had butterfly legs. So let's try butterfly arms. So from here, you can just take the elbows up. It does kind of look butterfly-y, doesn't it? And then from here, inhale, exhale. Inhale, bringing it, maybe almost kissing the elbows or not. Maybe one more like this. And then just try a little lateral stretch. Ooh, nice little release. Coming over to the side. So beautiful to see those little butterflies fluttering around. And then from here, inhale. Now, feel free, you might just say, I'm gonna go to a mummy stretch. Or you may be able to, even if it feels okay for you, bring the elbows up. And then I could clasp the hands behind. So feel free, or you might just say, oh, I'd rather go behind that way. So it might simulate it a little bit better. So from here, getting a little stretch and then switching again. So again, actually that would be probably the best behind the body if that's too much. And then when you're ready, inhale, feel free to stretch up, luxuriate in that stretch. Ooh, so good. And feel free, you might want to get those wrists involved again. And then from here, releasing. So just to make sure that we go through the whole body a little bit, let's just do some transfers too before we go into our yoga pose that we're highlighting today with the wrists. So from here, I'm going to take my, feel free to mirror me. So maybe your left leg, I'm going to take it forward. This is just such a good go-to one. I love about this too, wherever you are, kind of depending, but it does lend itself to having a chance just to kind of go through the foot. So what I'm saying is you don't need any props, you don't need a huge space. And then from here, I could take the hands behind and give a little stretch back. So I'm going like that. And I could take the back heel forward. So of course, going to what's best for me, I could go into a little bit of a bend, a little lunge. And then from here, I'm going to take that front foot back to the center. And the same foot I'm going to take behind me. So from here, I'm just running out of space, so I'm just adjusting a little bit. And then from here, same thing. So we're varying the base leg. And it does make a difference, which is the base leg as far as, the stretch, all those connective tissues. Just adding that little different variation. Maybe you're going to do that arms that we're doing. I think we often call that ziggies. Oh, please say hi to Ziggy if you see Ziggy. And then from here, take the leg back. And then going to the opposite leg. So one more just to finish it off. So I'm going to take the other leg that I haven't got to yet. And again, I could do the same kind of thing. But, once you get going, feel free. You might want to, just customize. You could do sort of many variations you can do. But just so good for the movement, as I said, into all those connective tissues. And we've got, I think I might have mentioned last time, can you believe it? 200 to 400 joints in the body. And they don't have an exact number because they said it varies on person. So Just think of those big football types. I guess they would be in the upper zone, or big basketball types. And then take that leg back to the center, same leg. I take it behind me, so just finishing it off. And I guess the hands alone, we have about 56 joints. So, you know, lots of connective tissues that we need to, oh, it's just so healthy to go through, to keep them strong, to keep them flexible. And of course, what I love too is that joy of movement happens too. And then take that leg back, maybe just a little finishing off, walk the dog. So let's go to our star pose for today, which would be Garandasana, which is eagle pose, which will really be good for the arms, the wrists, and of course, that the whole body gets a chance just to kind of come into that beautiful release. So from here, my feet are parallel. Always nice to go through Utkatasana. Inhale, come into chair pose. So it's a good building block for eagle pose. Again, thinking of the shoulder blades really will help this pose because it helps you ground down. So the feet are pressing down. I might lift up the big toes. I might lift up the thumbs. I think we did this last week, but it's just so good. And then I put the big toes down. I release the hands so they're straight. And then I come on up. Maybe one more like this. Inhale. Coming down. So I feel free to be, not be shy about sticking the tailbone out. So from here, tailbone is down, shoulder blades down the back, and I'm thinking of the tripod. And then from here, maybe lifting up the big toe again, maybe the thumb. So this is optimism. And then of course, the big toe, press it down, release the thumb. So the big toe mount is the connection, first connection from the base all the way up to the core, that front line core. Inhale, exhale, and then feel free, a little release. They also call that lightning bolt pose. So last night we had a lot of lightning bolts there. So we have power too. And thinking of that too, it's amazing how strong, when you think of how strong we are, good way to think of it, it's like a battery. You never know how strong you are until you go into these poses. You think, oh, that's great. So from here, I'm going into chair pose. I'm going to, please feel free to mirror me. I'm going to take my left heel up, maybe my left foot up. Ooh, flex. Now in this one too, maybe there's a wall there, maybe there's a chair. Please feel free to use a little bit of support if that feels good for you. And I slowly put the foot back down on the ground. Inhale up. Coming again. So this is a nice sort of, kind of work or building blocks towards that Garandasana. And then I'm going to take my right heel up, lift up the foot, little wiggle. So again, I'm still thinking of the core. I'm drawing up. The whole body is helping out, and especially the tripod of that base foot. And then put the foot down, go through the foot. So good. And then come back up. So let's go into Garandasana. Your choice too, I must say. Maybe you're just going to do arms, maybe you're just going to do legs. Shoulder blades down. So let's make a right angle of the right arm. I'm going to have the wrapping this side. So I'm going to wrap that arm underneath. Same arm, same leg wraps. Take the arm around and I'm going to squeeze. So mummy pose is great too. Again, no worries. Maybe you're just doing arms, maybe you're just doing legs. Or variations. So I'm squeezing into the center line. Maybe taking the hips down a little bit if possible. Maybe the elbows up a little bit. One more breath. And always coming out of the pose as smoothly as we can. I take the legs slowly down. I squeeze a little tight, 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 tight. I can even tip the arm a little bit if that's okay. And then I release. And then a little walk the dog. So good. So they call that squeeze and soak. Really good for the joints, really refreshing for the joints. Sort of thinking of a sponge. So I squeeze it and then refresh it. Let's go to the other side. Inhale, come into chair. And then I'm going to take my right heel, right foot, right arm, right angle, and then wrap. And then wrap. Again, feel free if you want to do the mummy version, all good. And again, just arms or legs, or feel free to do one or the other. So I'm squeezing in the center line. The drishti is maybe other side of the hands, or some people even have a mind's eye. And then from here, maybe pressing the heels down, that heel of the standing leg, the big toe mound, maybe the hips down a little bit, elbows up. And then exhale, release the legs only. If you can, squeeze tight, 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 tight. And then exhale, opening up. And then a little release. Oh, well, let's just do the arms one more time. I forgot to do a little tip. So it always feels good. So it's always wonderful to do it again. So I'm going to make a right angle. I'm going to wrap the arm around. I'm going to squeeze, and then I might tip a little bit. Oof, might feel really good. And then from here, take that same underarm, and then just guide it. Give it a little stretch. Feel free with the hand, flex, and make a little fist. Might feel really good too. And then invite the shoulder blade down. And then from here, stretch out. Whew. And then going the other way, coming underneath. Squeezing again, all good to do, mummy. From here I could tip. A little release. And then from here, maybe taking that arm, just getting a nice little stretch. So good. Kind of that same kind of stretch you do after weights, using weights. But in this case too, we did another kind of strength for the body with the core. So it still feels good. And then from here, a little stretch. Oh, very nice. And a little walk the dog, a little release. And then from here, just checking in. Let's just even check into Tadasana. Noticing how the body feels. A couple more breaths. And then thinking, can I smooth out my breath a little bit more? So maybe it has gotten a little kind of choppy. Maybe I can smooth it out by just checking in. And then from here, inhale, take the hands to the side. And then let's do our forward fold. So please feel free. You might even want to have a block just to have a little bit of support. So all good. So from here, and we'll be coming down to quadruped. If quadruped's not for you, please feel free to do it seated, or you could do it standing too as well. So, and then we'll be in a seated pose for our shoulder release. Inhale, come on up. I exhale, I firm the thighs. Exhale, fold forward. And again, certainly could use the blocks. And the first one, maybe a little longer. I'm just gonna go yes and no. But I'm energizing the legs. The legs are really strong. The upper body can be relaxed. And then from here, I might fold forward. Maybe have my hands on my elbows. Maybe I'm using the blocks. From here, I'm gonna try and spike the sits bones. And then from here, can you, if you would like to challenge yourself, can you lean a little bit more onto your toes? Notice the difference. If I just go to here, as my body wants to at first, I have to guide my body to go a little deeper by leaning forward a little bit. But again, totally optional. And then inhale, lengthening. So I could use my shins, I could use my quads or the blocks, so lengthening. Exhale, folding forward. Coming down to quadruped. So again, if it's better for you to use a chair, please feel free, or the wall. So if you are in quadruped, you might want to put something underneath your knees or your wrists. So always many things that you can do to customize. Just make sure the body feels supported. So I bring my elbows around in quadruped, just to set up. My hands are just very strong. So remember how we did that flexing? So very powerful. But again, if the wrists need a little bit of support, please put a blanket or a towel, or you can even fold the front of your mat. From here, bringing the elbows around, and then inhale, lift up. So I just soften the belly, lift up the head, the crown of the head, lift up the tailbone. Exhale, come into cat. And then undulating. So please keep going. So if you're in a chair, you could totally, go that little release, undulating. So good for the spine as well. Or maybe you're against a wall. So feel free. You can go into that movement. So good. And again, every day is different. And then feel free if you want to go into our classic honey pot. So imagine there's just a pot of honey underneath, and then you stir. So again, if you are in a seated pose, you can definitely stir, kind of releasing, kind of have one hip out, the other hip out. Or you can go zigzag. You could tuck the toes. So we actually did some nice release into the toes when we did those transfers going forward and back. But you might just say, oh, maybe I want to go a little deeper. You might feel like that's the right thing to do. Or you might just say, no, I'm going to go forward a bit more or back. So options are totally, could be sort of an upward dog. The motion could even be, now please don't feel like you have to. Some people even, well, sometimes you crave the downward dog, but no worries, you might just say, no, not for me. A little wiggle, a little release. And then from here, let's do a thread the needle for the shoulders. So from here, I'm going to take my right arm, inhale, take it out to the side. So go this way so you can see. So if you're seated, by the way, you might just want to do a nice little twist like this. You can totally do that. So, but if you're in quadruped, inhale, arm out to the side. Inhale, exhale. Then just take the shoulder down. And then if I need something for my head, I definitely could use a little pillow. There we go. And then wonderful for the immune system, I'm going to prop up that left arm. And that gives a chance for the breath to go right deep into the lymph nodes, into the sides of the rib cage there. So again, if you're seated, you could just kind of go into a little bit of a gentle twist there. So thread the needle for the shoulder. And then from there, maybe the arm might feel better behind the back. Some people even like it forward. Or just that classic, just beside the face there. And then one more breath. And then from here, inhale, drawing up. So I always try to use my whole core, my whole body to help out. And then just a little wiggle. And then from here, taking that left arm, inhale, and then thread underneath. Feel free to, I sort of missed getting a chance just to open up, so you might feel free to open up a little bit more. Exhale, and then come underneath. Oh, got Judy there. Oh, good, Judy's here, yeah. Sometimes it's hard sometimes logging in can be a little tricky, so all good. And then again, I can make a right angle with that arm. Again, getting a chance to let the breath go into the side of the rib cage. And really have that focus. Think of sending the breath into that zone. And then when you're ready, again, maybe behind the back. You might even want to stretch it forward. And then inhale, have your hand back to a good position to unthread. Inhale. And then from here, coming back, wiggle. Now, options. It's always nice to have a little bit of a reprieve in the middle of the class. Coming to child's pose. Now, options too. So maybe child's pose isn't for you. You could totally go to crocodile. So from here, my knees are at the side of the mat. One option, I must say, some people even like their thighs parallel. So both are child's pose. So from here, I would take my forehead down. If my hips are not happy, or my knees especially, I should say, I keep my hips up. So please go to where it's good for you. Or again, please feel free. Crocodile is this. I know some participants love this one too. Crocodile as I wiggle the hips, put the forehead down. And then of course, if either of those are not for you today, you can always just go to supine on your back, release. So please stay there for a few more breaths. And with that, with the forehead pressing down in crocodile or child's pose, what's wonderful is that you calm the mind. If you're in a supine position, if it's better for you, then just rotate the arms and just let the heart be heavy. But a wonderful time to check in with the breath. Perhaps send the breath to a zone that maybe on a busy day you don't get a chance to. So in child's pose or crocodile, send the breath to the back of the body, the mid-back, the low back, the upper back. Maybe laterally. So same thing if you're in supine, you can definitely go laterally. So the sides of the body, the side body. And then when you get a chance, please feel free to slowly come up. Oh, got Judy here. Here we go. There. Slowly, hi. So slowly coming on up. And then let's meet in a seated position. Now I've got my blanket here. You could use a beach towel or a big towel. I'm gonna have my ball handy. I'm gonna have my, or lotion or, and then a block is nice to have too. So actually just before we start that, it'd be very nice to do a sort of like thinking we did the butterfly with the elbows. We're gonna do a little gentle butterfly with the legs. But before we do this, we'll do a calf flush. I always find this sort of just feels really nice. So take my thumb and my first two fingers, and I just massage. Actually, you could take the other hand too. And just massage the lower part of the calf, the Achilles. So they call it a calf flush. It just might be kind of soothing. So I love these self-care little tools, little tips to do. And I think, that's so cool because last Friday it was self-care day. But so highlighting, but to me it's, every day can be self-care. And then the other side. So just taking it, just a chance to, or time in the day, and this is perfect here with our gentle yoga. Just to kind of check in with the body and kind of help release anything you don't need. And having said that, maybe one more time each side. When you inhale, draw in what you need. And then exhale, release anything you don't need. So maybe it's a little stuck stress too. Sometimes you can just sort of actually feel it. And then from here, let's just take the feet. So we're just gonna do a gentle one. We won't be here very long, but feel free if you would rather put some props underneath, you totally can. And I'm in more of a diamond actually, so my feet are apart and I'm just gonna gently fold forward. So we're going to be here much longer. We would, of course, add more props, but we're just getting a nice little stretch in the low back. And then from here, inhale, drawing up. And then from here, a little wiggle. So let's go into some nice release into the arms. So from here, I am going to put, here we go. I'm going to put a leg in front. Now, feel free, probably, well, maybe if you mirror me, I'm just thinking it might probably be easiest just to hear the cue. So feel free, if you're mirroring me, you'll be putting the right leg in front. So from here now, your version of how you sit may be different than mine, all good. Everybody will be different. So just if you could have that leg in front, and then no worries too. Maybe might want to put a little towel, maybe feel good, or you could totally use a block too as well. So from here, having said that, you might want to block for this too, or you could use another towel. So from here, I'm just going to sit up tall, sits bones down, inhale, and this is such a good little piriformis stretch. Well, it is a little, it's just a nice stretch. And again, everybody will be different. So maybe some people may be up a little higher, all good. So I'm just getting a little stretch. It's just a nice one to start off this release. And then I'm going to inhale, draw up. And then I could take the block on the opposite side, same arm as leg in front, and then I'm going to take the arm over, just a little stretch this way. Invite the shoulder blade down, so the heart is forward, and then I take the hand and then just do a little release. Feel free, you might just want to do that, like inhale, exhale, release. And then push the head back into the hand and then luxuriate in the stretch. And then put the hand down. And so same arm, we're still working with the same arm, same leg is crossed. And I'm just going to check my range of motion. So just kind of noticing how does it feel today. And of course, always staying in the green zone. So that's the zone where the breath just takes you very easily there. So you don't have to, push at the movement. Your movement is just very fluid. You might come to a little bit close to the edge, but never, pushing at it. So noticing, okay, what does that feel like? Take the shoulder blades down and then take the ball, and then I'm going to press it into, this is sort of the anterior deltoid zone. Same arm pressing it there. Now, if you don't have a ball, feel free, you could just even press with your fingers. The lotion might make it a tiny bit easier too to press, or you might just say, no, I'm fine. So feel free just to kind of roll. And of course, let the breath help release. So the breath will help calm that area, soothe that area, and then anything you don't need, the breath will take that away. So it could be tension, could be even toxins. So it's nice to kind of release. And then you might notice that I'm going more in the pectoralis zone. So there's the major and the minor is a little higher up. And interesting too, how that can really open up the arm movement. So I could use my arm there. I could use the mouth too. Open up a little bit. And then another area that's so powerful is just in the sternum. So very releasing. Any of you have I know I get allergies. Sometimes it can be a little bit tight there. Maybe you've had a cold or just tension. Could be from driving or computer work. So nice, just very soothing. And then let's go to the SCM, sternocleidomastoid. I might just kind of go up in here. So if you have tight arms, tight wrists, the hands are a bit tight, that can go right into the neck. So I thought that would be nice to kind of release. And then nice to go up, almost a little bit of a facial mode. And soothing, I can move the head a little. Maybe one more breath. And then from here, from here, I just check that range of motion. So that's just a nice little series to do. You might just say, whatever activity you're doing, you might just say, I feel a little tight there. Nice one to do. So maybe the movement is just a bit smoother. So maybe the range of motion could even be a little higher, but bigger, but just even that smoothness of the movement, so powerful, so good. So we're hydrating, sort of inviting that zone just to move. So almost like doing a bit of I want to say an oil change, but sort of that idea. And then from here, I'm just going to take the legs, very gently, and I could just go that side to side. Feel free, you might even just say, might feel good to kind of release forward. Sorry for the feet. And then take the other leg when you're ready in front. So again, it can be, everybody's cross legs are going to be different versions. So please feel free. On this side, this side is a little tighter. So I'm going to make sure I put something underneath there just to give myself a little support. Then I'm going to sit up nice and tall. So the sits bones, try and make them as even as I can. And then I'm going to inhale, and then I'm just going to tip forward. So noticing it might feel different on this side. This is my other participant. It's funny, you'd never believe it, she's very shy. And then from here, I inhale, I draw up. And then again, I might put the block over here, same arm, same leg is crossed. And I'm gonna just stretch over. I'm gonna invite that hip to really ground down. So the same arm, the hip, that side, the hip grounds down. And then inhale, take the body up, and I take my head just gently, inviting the shoulder blade down. And checking into the breath, checking into the face. Is the face smooth with the breath? And then from here, inhale, press the head back into the hand, and hand into the head, stretch up. And then take the arm down, and then same thing. Now we're gonna check with that left arm. Or I'm sorry, if you'd be mirroring me, you're right. So maybe it's your dominant side, maybe it's not. And of course, if you ever had an injury on a certain side too, of course that can affect. And then same thing, I'm gonna take the ball and go into that anterior deltoid zone. Just so soothing. And again, you could totally just use your hands there. So I know a few weeks back we talked about, just please keep going with that. We talked about heart, how soothing that is, just with the hands there. Wonderful just to kind of release those, those sort of happy hormones. And then yet the body also responds to just a little TLC in different parts of the body as well. And I could go with the muscle, the pectoralis muscle. So it's kind of like a fan. This goes like that. So you could go with the muscle. And I can go a little higher up the minor. Now this, and again, as I mentioned before, kind of works with that arm movement. So kind of releasing in there. And of course, I'm always going in a smooth breath. If I ever notice that the body cringes a little bit, then I would pull back. I would not press as much, or maybe go to another spot. So it's just a gentle release. Move the head a little. And then I could go in that SCM. So I always say this, but it's such a good way to explain it. So think of an Audrey Hepburn scarf. So these muscles there are like that. So I go up. So again, almost like you're giving yourself a little bit of a, well, kind of a facial kind of stroke. But with the ball. And then I can go all the way up to the ear. I could kind of lean in. Just so good. So again, any tightness in the hand can affect into the neck and the shoulder. So nice to release. You might want to go back to yourself. Oh, the sternum too. Can't forget that. You're just going to feel so soothing. When you think of the thymus gland too, it's fabulous that way too. Those T cells get a little bit of like a, almost like you're pressing that button, kind of, okay, you know, keep the volume going. And then when you're ready, take that same arm you're working on and then just check that range of motion. So it might be a little bit more smooth, more silky. And then from here, a little release. So going into the hands now, feel free, you might just say, oh, I need to stretch out again. So I'm just gonna go sideways. So feel free, you could just totally stretch out. And then from here, feel free just to kind of go into what a comfortable position for you. Some people like sort of like, speaking of butterfly, it's kind of like a half a butterfly kind of shape. Some people too, maybe even legs out this way. And then, you know, there are some people too that really love sort of this Virasana, so you can totally be there. So from here, I'm just going to take the ball. It doesn't matter. Well, let's just go to the same hand. So if you take it with you, mirror me the right hand. So I'm just going to squeeze. I'm going to notice the grip strength. It's very powerful too for any racket games, golf games, just strength in the hand, very powerful. So I'm just going to notice what my strength is like there. And then from here, I'm going to take the ball. You probably remember this little series, it's so good. And I'm going to put the ball down, and I'm going to go to the heel of the hand like a happy face. Now, if you don't have a ball, which you can totally do, you could use the lotion or not. And I'm just going to, with my other hand, my other thumb, I'm just going to go around the base of the hand, so that low part, like a happy face. So again, you could go into, or it's kind of like dough, isn't it? Playing with Play-Doh or making pies. And then from here, maybe go to the heel of the hand specifically. So if I'm just using my hand there, I'm just going to press the heel of the hand. And kind of interesting, you might find something, maybe you won't find anything, but when you think of it, you know, just wonderful TLC for the hands. And of course, reverse what we were doing before, this releases into the neck. And then maybe try the palm of the hand. So again, you can just press with your hand. And then let the breath kind of just guide that movement. And then from here, options. I could put my hand down and I could roll out each finger and get around the nail beds too. Really, really important to get into that zone, very stimulating. Or if I'm not using the ball, I could just do that. Remember that squeeze the toothpaste? So I go to the base and I just pull up. So you could totally do a bit of a combo if you want. You might just say, I'm gonna try a little bit of both. Okay. And then from here, if you're using the ball, kind of playtime. So I just kind of go wherever I like. And then if you're not using the ball, I'm just gonna, you know, kind of go through the whole hand. Kind of like I'm just washing one hand. That kind of a feel. And I might revisit a certain area. So you might just say, yeah, you know, actually I did find something in that, the heel of the thumb. One more breath. And then from here, release. So let's try the little assessment. Now, we should have mentioned too, if you don't have a ball, the assessment, and I apologize because I should have mentioned this before, is you can use a towel. So you can squeeze into the towel. So let me try this. We'll do it for sure the next side too if you do not have the ball. So just squeezing. Maybe there's a little more strength there. You might just say, well, I might try that towel. Oh yeah. And then from here, feel free, a little wiggle. And then from here, feel free to change your position. So, maybe you were just doing that open version. So feel free, whatever's best for you. So let's do the assessment. So I'm going to go to the other arm. So make sure we do it with the towel this time or the ball. So either or. So squeeze into, as I said, the ball, or if you don't have a ball, the towel. So squeeze it. What is your strength? How does it feel? Kind of just, it's very powerful just to even do the squeezing, I find too. And then from here, going into that happy face. So I go to the heel of the thumb and go around. So I go around like that, or like a U. And then if I don't have a ball, then I'm just going to use my other hand and massage around. Yeah. Then interesting, isn't it? I don't know about you, but I definitely find something on this side. And if so, then inhale, just press into that zone, kind of releasing. I could even just press, inhale, and then just hold it there. But of course, never doing it too much. If the body says, oh, if you notice your face tightening up, then, that's not for you. Ease it off or don't be at that certain spot. So, and then go to the palm of the hand. And again, if you don't have a ball, you can just use your other hand. And again, interesting what you find. And then from there, put the hand down if you're using the ball. And then I take the ball and I roll out from the knuckle all the way out each finger. And especially when I get to the end, I'm going to make sure I go around the nail beds. And don't forget your thumb too. So, or I might do that squeeze the toothpaste. So go from the base of the knuckle all the way. Oh, another one too. There's so many good ones. If you are doing with the hand, you might just say, oh, I remember this. You are doing with the hand, you just flick out any stress that you have. And then if you're like this, you could just imagine that it's just kind of going out. So whatever is the best version for you. Both are good. And again, just releasing anything you don't need. And then feel free to go to that playtime, such a good one. So might roll out wherever it feels good. Or again, I might use my other hand and then just massage into those different zones. So again, this self-myofascial work, wonderful because you can totally know what is the amount of pressure that's best for you. We need to go back to the course. Wonderful to go to a professional, of course, but it is nice to have that feedback yourself and check in. Just massaging. So good. And then from here, doing that assessment. So again, I could be using the ball, so I could just squeeze. Is there a little more strength? Or if you were using a towel, just noticing, is there a little more strength? And when you think of strength, I think of too, how the flexibility comes into play. So if the hand is a little bit more flexible, it can, do more, it can squeeze more. And of course, then you've got your strength aspect to it. So it's kind of a both, either thing. So wonderful. And then from here, let's just sort of finish it off. Now, feel free, if you do have lotion, you could totally sort of do that last little bit. If you don't have lotion, you can still sort of massage both hands. And then just sort of pull away. Kind of like we did before, where you held on, but it might be a little slippery. So I might do more up, so like a handshake, pulling apart. Just a nice little release there. And then from here, feel free just to stretch out. Feel free to. You might even want to take your hands behind. Just a nice little release. And then from here, slowly coming into or to the mat in a supine position. So from here, we got time just for just a little mini stretch. I'm going into a beautiful Shavasana. I might put my towel there for my head, but again, you may be totally fine. And then I'm going to have my blanket handy. So from here, let's just do just a little stretch up. So we'll enjoy a little release. The legs might like it. So I might just take the strap around the balls of the foot. You lengthen through and then just flex just side to side. So if you don't have a strap, you totally could just put the palms down, a little flex and point. You could just even lift them up. If you do have a strap, you could go to the side a little bit too. That's a nice one for the IT. When you think of it, part of our practice, we were working on part of the lateral lines. So you think of the arms and the rib cage. And then from here, inhale, got the strap, just put it to the side, and then knees into the chest. A little release. And then again, feel free if you want to flex and point. It's always good to kind of add those little extra releases in. And then from here, take the legs down. So the feet are down, my palms are down, and then I'm just going to go side to side. So this is just more of a constructive rock. So I'm not going really deeply. I'm just going to go part way and then part way. And what's wonderful about this one too, it's really good for the mind. The mind loves this. The mind feels very relaxed. I'm getting a nice stretch into the hips and up into the shoulder. Maybe one more each side. And then from here, let's just take the right knee in. Last one little stretch. Feel free, you might even just say, you know, I really have the craving to stretch up. You totally can. And then if it's okay with you, you could even float it down and then switch legs. So I take the left leg in. So this is a little digestive massage, by the way. When I take the right leg in, I'm pressing into the ascending colon. When I take the left leg in, I'm pressing into the descending colon. And again, you might, feel like, oh, yes, that feels like the right thing to do. Lift up or not, and I could float down, or I could just put the foot down. So whatever's best for your low back. And then from here, I'm gonna get the blanket. So good to support the low back, speaking of the low back. So the roll-up blanket, or whatever you're using, big towel, is underneath the thighs so that the thigh bones can relax into the pelvic area. And I might just double check that the shoulder blades are down the back. Palms are up. Again, you might have a little pillow. If you have an extra blanket too, some people even, maybe not because of warmth, but just soothing feeling across the belly. And then just maybe one more deep breath and then exhale through the mouth. And let the body go to that natural belly breath. Please do stay into Shavasana, where the jaws are relaxed. The eyes are soft. The neck is soft. The heart feels like it's hammocking. And Shavasana is a wonderful time to let the practice digest. And always nice to add those positive affirmations. So many wonderful ones. Please feel free if you want to use your own. You might have one to use. Please feel free. Or if you would like to think to yourself that every cell in my body is calm. And every cell in my body is peaceful. And yet, every cell in my body is strong. And every cell in my body is amazing at healing. What we think, we become. And then from there, taking the breath more deeply into the heart. Taking the breath more deeply into the belly. Maybe within the fingers, within the toes. It's nice to have this little kind of doorbell into the mind. And then from there, feel free to inhale and then exhale. Sometimes that feels really good, so totally optional, but feel free. That's the beauty of being at home too. You can be as audible as you like, but never a problem in class. Love to hear that. But so feel free to roll over slowly to the right, a little bit easier for the heart. Maybe feel free just to kind of just take an extra breath there. And I always say, no matter how strong you are, always use 2 hands to slowly help you up. And then of course, you could be sitting back on that blanket that you use underneath your thighs, or maybe it's a pillow or a block, and much easier for the knees as well. So and it helps me sit up much taller with the spine, the chin slightly tucked. Again, shoulder blades down the back. So imagine your arms like wet rope, so to speak, kind of releasing in a strong spine. And let's do 2 breaths. Could be hands on the knees or Cyan Mudra, thumb in the first finger. Inhale. And then exhale. And then second one, inhale. And then exhale. And I honor your strength of body, mind, and spirit. Namaste. Oh, thank you so much. And namaste. Sending love. And never know, hope I run into you somewhere. That'd be lovely. And I'm not sure what the status is, but sure hope you can get back to the studio in the fall. So yeah, so please email Simone, or if you have my email address, please feel free to email me with any questions or any ideas for classes. Next week, I thought we would do go into the feet, a little bit more into the feet. And I was going to go a little bit into the ball too. Or, actually, you know what works too for the feet? You could use a water bottle. So, thank you, Heather. And thanks for the nice message. And so nice to have you all here. And have a wonderful, wonderful long weekend. Safe travels. Be safe. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Chantel. Love that. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So, yeah, have a wonderful long weekend, and hope you can do some of your very favorite things and enjoy the sunshine. So namaste. The light in me shines and sees the light in you. Namaste. Thanks. Bye-bye.